Sure. Everything for us centers around what we call the Oracle BI Foundation, which is a combination of relational and multidimensional technologies. Our BI Foundation powers everything we do from a standalone BI standpoint, our pre-built BI applications, and our enterprise performance management applications. Sure. Performance management applications tend to anchor around core financial processes, such as closing your books, financial consolidation, planning and budgeting. It's a key part and works very well with core business intelligence, but for the most part, performance management applications are used by the finance department. Sure. I think that is a sort of legacy of business intelligence. In the 90s and in the early 2000s, business intelligence was very much like that, expensive, costly, difficult to implement. Oracle has tried to take a different approach, where we build BI into everything that we do, where Oracle takes the burden of integration upon itself rather than putting it on our customers. Okay, so cloud for Oracle is something we've been doing for 35 years. We have always offered our technologies as a consumable service, either on-premise or something that Oracle offers. So cloud is nothing new. And business intelligence we offer in the exact same way. You can be using business intelligence behind your firewall. You could be using it from an outside vendor or hosting provider, or Oracle will host it for you as well. So cloud is just a continuation of how Oracle has always offered its products. From the question as to how do we make it easier to implement, again, what we've tried to do is build business intelligence into our core applications, into what we offer from a technology standpoint. And the example of Exadata, in terms of bundling hardware and software as a total solution, I think is a great example. The other piece that we offer is pre-built applications. So Oracle's using its expertise in data warehousing, in business intelligence, and in transactional applications to deliver solutions out of the box, which are easier and cheaper for customers to implement. Yeah, I don't. I'm part of a global business unit, but I take a larger approach to it, and I can give you some of the general trends. Lately, what we've seen is a great increase in business intelligence globally, so across all regions, and Latin America no exception to that. Traditional lines of business or industries for business intelligence were things like financial services and manufacturing. For the most part, we think that they've made those expenditures already. New industries that we see growing very rapidly in terms of business intelligence adoption are public sector or government organizations and utilities, so water, power, those sorts of pieces as well.
Health sector?
Healthcare as well.
And retail?
Retail, though we think retail for the most part is adding on new business intelligence. Retail's done a great job on the back office in terms of bringing business intelligence to play. And what we're seeing, particularly around the sort of Web 2.0 and social media, is expanding BI in retail now to the front office or point of sale. Oracle is a proponent of open source. We manage the leading open source database, MySQL. That's something that Oracle owns and supports. We see open source BI as a very niche sort of environment. The challenge we see to open source BI is that there is no single owner, and in many cases you're seeing the fragmentation or forking of various pieces. We think there's some innovation that occurs within the open source community, but what we look to do is to work with the open source community to bring that innovation into Oracle and into the broader market. Sure.
Why?
What you get with Oracle is you get more than just a BI tool. And when I look at companies like Pentaho or some of the other open source vendors, they've done a good job of offering a very point or niche solution, an individual tool. What our customers tell us, and this is small customers, medium and large customers, is they're looking to have fewer vendors to work with rather than more. And so what they look to Oracle for is to get database, business intelligence, applications, and hardware, all from a single vendor, to lower their cost of doing business within the IT community.
iPad.
Sure. Steve Jobs is Larry Ellison's best friend, so the iPad is a very important device for us. I would argue it will become one of the most important devices for consuming business intelligence. The days of people all in an office, all working together in a work group, I think are behind us. More and more people are mobile in terms of the way they work or where their work sends them. A field service provider, someone who's out there in the field trying to fix things within a company or within an individual home, is not going to want to go back to the office to enter information or to access information. So we see mobile devices, whether they're smartphones or tablet-based devices, being critical for business intelligence, and we're doing a lot to implement our technology on top of those devices. They are adopting them pretty quickly. We have lots of users that are looking to deploy business intelligence in mobile environments. Apple is a big customer of ours, so they use our business intelligence in that sort of fashion. The trend is bigger than Oracle. So we see this as a trend for us to be part of rather than to lead around mobile devices. What are the technical requirements? It's funny, I don't think the challenges of BI right now are no longer technological, they're cultural. Almost every company has the core infrastructure they need to roll out business intelligence. They have hardware, they have databases, they have applications, those sorts of pieces. The challenge that most of these companies have is the will or the cultural aspect to bring information together, to break up the individual silos of information that exist within these companies, and to centralize on an enterprise type business intelligence solution. A small company has it easier because there's less fragmentation. We see, and I left Oracle to join a small company, and we grew as many as 300 people. When you have 50, 100, 200 people, you have less fragmentation of information. It's easier for you to get everyone together and to have a discussion. When you're in a larger organization, 50,000 people, 80,000 people, 100,000 people, it's very difficult to do that. Business intelligence is one of the ways that you're able to operate like a small company when you're still a large company. And Oracle's a good example of that. We're 115,000 people, yet we all work from the same set of metrics. We have a single definition of a customer, of a supplier, of an employee. And in that way, we can act as nimble as a small company while still being a large company. Sure. Again, our strategy there is to embed as much of business intelligence directly into the applications. So one does not have a separate business intelligence tool and a separate financial system. It's all of one. So your accounting clerks are getting information, and that can be shared with your sales organization securely and in a relevant fashion. One of the unique offerings that Oracle has is a full suite of pre-built business intelligence applications. Oracle has done the hard work around data architecture, ETL, metadata, and dashboards and reports. We've offered these for the last 5 years, and we've seen a tremendous user adoption of these applications. The advantage they have is they can implement very quickly. So instead of spending a year or two building a data warehouse, we see customers that implement our business intelligence applications in a matter of weeks and are able to get real value from them. They are, when you compare and contrast the cost of buying a pre-built application versus building it yourself, our customers have told us that it can be half as expensive or even less. So it's being able to do more with a decreasing IT budget. The target consumer for a BI application is realistically everyone within an organization. The concept of having a dashboard, instead of doing ad hoc query and hardcore analysis, maybe 2 or 3% of your organization does that. Someone with a last name of analyst in their title. But for you and me, for the rank and file within an organization, we're the consumers of BI applications. At Oracle, for example, we have 115,000 people. Every person at Oracle that has either people reporting to them or is responsible for a cost center accesses the Oracle BI applications. You don't. And that is the biggest change I've seen in Oracle in the last 5 years. In the 90s and in the early 2000s, Oracle BI technology worked only in an Oracle environment. And we recognized that that was a weakness of Oracle. So since 2005, our products have been complete, open, and integrated. And by open, we mean working in Oracle and non-Oracle technologies. We have customers today that don't run any other Oracle technology besides our business intelligence. They've committed to SQL Server or Teradata or DB2, yet they use our business intelligence technology on top of that. The vast majority of customers, though, are mixed environments. They have some Oracle, some non-Oracle, and our business intelligence works very well in that type of environment. IBM, SAP, Microsoft are our biggest competitors in business intelligence, and we've taken a very different approach than those vendors. From an Oracle standpoint, our commitment to complete, open, and integrated. We are years ahead of those organizations in terms of integrating enterprise or corporate performance management applications with business intelligence. Because one of the metrics you're going to track is probably performance to plan. And if you've made a change to your plan with our competitors' technologies like Microsoft or IBM owning Cognos, SAP owning business objects, you're going to have to do a manual effort in order to make those changes. From an Oracle standpoint, we've automated that. A second distinct advantage that we have, particularly over SAP business objects, is our concept of a single enterprise information model. SAP will go and you'll build several business objects universes. And I've met with companies that have dozens of these universes. In my keynote today, we looked at an example of an organization that had 900 business objects universes. Obviously, synchronizing information across that is very, very difficult. With an Oracle technology, you don't have that challenge. Single enterprise information model allows you to get to that single source of truth without a lot of manual effort. We see tremendous growth opportunities in Latin America, particularly in Mexico and Brazil. The way that we track Latin America, we've seen in the last year very double-digit growth in terms of business intelligence. And we, as a company, are making a greater effort to have more local resources here, particularly in Mexico and Brazil, to support our customer base. Obviously, we have always done the translation of our technologies into both Spanish and Brazilian Portuguese, and we're doing that across larger product sets than just business intelligence, so that people can use the information locally and consume it in a language that they are most comfortable with. We think mobile is going to be a big driver of information in Latin America around business intelligence, and so we're trying to support that as well. And we certainly see growth areas around the sort of IT upgrade cycles that we're seeing within public sector, within utilities, within manufacturing. So each of these we see as drivers for even better growth for business intelligence in Latin America. Sure. Business intelligence is no different in that regard. It will continue to evolve, it will continue to innovate, and from an Oracle standpoint, I think what you'll see from us are the same way that we've built pre-built hardware appliances such as Exadata, you're going to see us build that specifically for business intelligence, and not just for large enterprises, but for smaller enterprises as well. A complete business intelligence solution in a box that a smaller, medium-sized business could purchase pretty quickly, and implement pretty quickly. From a straight development standpoint, you're going to see more and more automation of BI. In front of the scenes, or what end users are touching, I think more and more is going to be anchored around mobile. So you're going to see, we see tablet-based systems, today the iPad, but we know that Android is coming out with tablets, Microsoft is going to come out with tablets, and these are going to be the sort of laptop replacements that people have. And business intelligence needs to work very nicely on those systems because that's the way that people are going to be the way they're going to be connected and communicating with their office. And so we're doing a lot of work there as well. For BI, it's events like what we're having here today. I think a big challenge that we have for business intelligence in Mexico in particular is just awareness. I think people think of Oracle as a database company. Maybe they're thinking of us as an applications company. And the strategy we have is that hopefully they understand that we're actually a solutions company, that we can bring all of our products to bear, whether it's hardware from Sun, it's business intelligence, it's our database, it's our applications. We're looking to making sure that Mexico in particular understands the value that we have for those products. Partners are obviously critical, and partners are critical for us not just in Mexico but in every region. It is ultimately, business intelligence is one of those solutions that I would always recommend bringing in a partner. You don't want to engage on a business intelligence project alone or for the first time, because there are fairly common mistakes that you can make. Simply bringing in a partner for a week or for a strategy session can save you so much time and effort in terms of they've done it tens or hundreds of times, and you can get that benefit from them. So the partner community is critical. One of the other interesting pieces that we're seeing around partners in Mexico in particular is this concept of, we call it nearshoring. So instead of looking to offshore to India or China, we're seeing US companies using IT resources from Mexico because there are excellent IT resources here. There's a better understanding of language, both from a US to Mexico and Mexico to the United States, than certainly there is to China. And there's a good population of expertise here that can be leveraged. So we're seeing the partnership working both ways.
Okay, I'll do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.